In the headlines, same religion ticket debate rages as deadline for submission of candidates inches closer. House of Representatives to override President Buhari on statutory delegates in the Electoral Act. Bandits kill 3, abduct dozens in fresh attack in Niger State. And on the foreign scene, French, German, Italian leaders in first Kyiv trip since invasion. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Hello and welcome once again. Plateau State Governor and Chairman in Northern Governors Forum, Simon Lalong, has added his voice to the ongoing debate on same religion ticket in the 2023 presidential race, saying one's faith is not qualification to be running mate. Lalong, in an exclusive interview with Trust TV, said if he is in the race to be an APC presidential running mate, his faith should not be a prerequisite. He also gives reasons why northern governors decided power should shift to the southern part of the country.
I am not even, if I'm aspiring to be the vice president, I've told you, I am not aspiring because it is my faith. I'm aspiring because I am qualified. First, that's it. Because when you are measuring that kind of thing, first you look at people who are qualified to go in. When we pick them, we pick 5 to, we didn't talk about religion, yes, because we said they should move in. But then in politics, there's always a tradition. And when people start to believe in that kind of tradition, the moment you deny them that tradition, it means that you are already excluding them from politics. I take that from where I came from, Plateau. I realized that some of this crisis, everything that was happening was because of exclusion. People believed that they were excluded. No matter in politics, you talk about the majority having their say, having their way, while the minority must give them opportunity to have a say. Once you have that, you have completely peace in your place. What are we talking about today? We are talking about peaceful federation. We are talking about a progressive federation in crisis. Already we are in crisis. How to manage the crisis. It's not only winning the election, you are also going to win the election and thinking of governing the nation. I must say the epic and I think the final position was taken during this convention without any fear of favor, because that has been our position, that we look at the objectives, we look at it objectively, that this country belongs to all of us.
Watch out for the full interview on the program 30 Minutes, which airs on Monday on Trust TV. Meanwhile, Chief Whip of the Senate, Senator Orji Uzor Kalu, has proposed a Muslim ticket as a critical factor for the All Progressive Congress APC to win the presidential election in 2023. He expressed belief that the ruling party may lose the election if it fails to go for the option of a Muslim presidential ticket, considering the current situation it has found itself. Senator Kalu gave the remark on Wednesday in an interview with journalists at the National Assembly complex in Abuja. The Chief Whip, who argued that it was impossible for a southern minority Muslim and a northern minority Christian to win presidential election in Nigeria, and said APC should be concerned about winning than the religious affiliation of its vice presidential candidate.
Situation. The wife is a senior pastor in a Pentecostal church. I will go Muslim ticket. The most important thing is for the party to win. It's not, we should stop all this rubbish about whether you put a Christian there. After all, if we win, already the wife is a pastor. They have been living for over 40, 50 something years together. I've known them this far. So why do you want to blame about, she's already like a deputy president. If I'm to say, I'm a Catholic. I'm saying my opinion. This is Orji Kalu's opinion. You cannot deny me my opinion. But you can also play Christian ticket, depending on the scenario. Because if we don't play Muslim, we're in trouble. We will not win it will be most difficult to win the election. Because the only thing left for Ahmed Tinubu today is to play Muslim.
And as presidential candidates of political parties and party officials continue to scout for running mates ahead of the 17th June deadline as stipulated by the Independent National Electoral Commission, controversies are trailing the discourse. Issues around the religion practiced by those touted as running mates to presidential candidates are top on the discourse from every quarter. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu in this report speaks to the electorate on what qualities a running mate for the presidential candidate under any of the political parties should possess. The report.
With the special conventions of the major political parties where presidential aspirants were elected over, attention has now shifted to selecting running mates for the flag bearers. This has ushered the parties into another round of political intrigues, calculations and permutations as each party is considering how to balance the religious and regional divides in a way that would help it win the general election in 2023. Spokesman of the All Progressives Congress APC national stakeholders, Aliyu Audu, implored the ruling party to narrow its search for a running mate to the party's presidential flag bearer Ahmed Bola Tinubu to a Christian from the north. However, youth under the auspices of the Northeast APC Youth Stakeholders Forum insist on special consideration for the zone in choosing a vice presidential candidate. Meanwhile, Christian youth in Nigeria have declared that they will vote against any political party that fills a Muslim ticket in the 2023 presidential election. On the part of some electorates, the controversy around the religion of the running mates should not be an issue, noting that a combination of credible candidates who will give the country effective leadership should be considered first.
What I want to say is this. I want Nigerians to know that these Muslim tickets, Christian tickets, is what the political elites are using to divide, the youth, and that's what they are using to divide Nigerians so that we'll be fighting themselves, so that they have, make a way for themselves to be there. It's not business as usual. Nigerians are now wise. We don't care whether it's Muslim or Christian. What Nigerians and the youth are talking about now is credible candidates that will be there for the masses.
It's about individual. You want to look at the antecedents of their past, or what they have done. What does religion have to do with what is on the ground? We need performance. We really need performance.
I would suggest to pick a Muslim and Christian, let them go to there and walk. And we must tell them, let them go there because of the citizen, because of the interests of the masses. It's not because of their personal interests.
This position does not go down well with others who believe that same religion for candidates and their running mates has a huge role to play in the outcome of the election.
I advise them to go to the same religion. At least both of them can pull heads together and work for the betterment of the country. They are to serve the Nigerians. If they are the same religion or the same tribe, they can easily communicate to each other. What you need is the understanding.
The People's Democratic Party and Labour Party, through their leaders, have declared that their presidential candidates will choose a competent Christian from the south and a competent Muslim from the north, respectively, for regional and religious balance. The Independent National Electoral Commission has issued a fresh warning to the political parties that the Friday, June 17th deadline for the submission of the names of candidates and their running mates is sacrosanct. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And members of the House of Representatives has called for a veto to overrule President Muhammadu Buhari on Section 84, subsection 8, which he has refused to assent to by invoking Section 58. The federal lawmakers made this call at plenary on Wednesday after many lawmakers lost their seats due to the president not assenting to the electoral amendment by both chambers of the National Assembly. The report.
The Deputy Minority Leader, Toby Okechukwu, raised the motion for a veto on Section 84, subsection 8, following the poor showing of members of both chambers at the National Assembly at the just concluded primaries. He said the Electoral Act is presently practiced without the amendments painstakingly made by lawmakers has been weaponized and used against democracy, stating that the highest bidders have taken advantage to hijack the process.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, something is wrong in an environment, in an institution, where the two leaders of the Senate would have to cross to other parties because of an inherent inclement condition. Anything that occasions it, anything that warrants it, if it is our electoral act, if it is our politics, if it is the environment where we operate, we need to retool. And like you said, we got to do a better work and we have to fight on. For me, it is just a battle that is lost. The war is on, and that we should go ahead to make sure that that law is retooled, made clear, and if it requires this parliament to take action to override what has not been signed, we should be willing to do so.
The motion was supported by Representative Ben Igbakba, who complained that lawmakers were called from break to debate the section only for the president to abandon it to attend to other assignments. He called for the activation of Section 58, which gave the Parliament powers to veto the president should he refuse to sign any bill transmitted by the National Assembly.
We cannot continue to act as if we are under the executive arm of government. This constitution gave us the powers, just like it gave to them. We must wake up as a parliament where we pass our laws and we are sure that we have done the right thing. We should start overriding Mr. President, because this is just the beginning. Today, NDDC Act is in force because the parliament, which we are part of, did it. Why are we afraid? Mr. President has not committed any offense. What he has done is the rule of law and the constitution. And I believe by the time we do our own, by overriding his veto, we will not have committed any offense. We will be working according to the constitution and the rule of law.
While ruling on the motion, the Speaker listed all the conditions under which lawmakers could override a veto successfully. He said it is not automatic to override the president, stating that it can only happen if the House is convinced it will get the two-thirds majority of the House is required by law.
But for us to override, I believe we require two-thirds majority. And it cannot be by voice vote, neither can it be by way of signatures, unless, of course, you have enough two-thirds by signature. So what I would suggest is that you bring the application, a formal motion or notice, so perhaps tomorrow or whenever you are able to do that, and then we'll determine whether or not this House is ready to override or not. I think that's the way to go. That's the proper procedure. And I appreciate your comments. And I believe you're talking about the provision on statutory delegates, which Honorable Toby alluded to earlier. I believe that's the provision you're talking about. So we'll go ahead. You can file your motion, and hopefully we'll be able to list it tomorrow or whenever the calendar permits.
Representative Igbakba is expected to bring a motion to substantiate the complaints raised when plenary resumes on Thursday.
Now, 3 persons have been reportedly killed, while an unspecified number of people have been abducted on Wednesday night in Maguzawa community, Rafi local government area of Niger State. According to reports, some of those kidnapped were women and children, while many residents have fled their homes to Kagara and Pandogari in Niger State and Birnungwari town in Kaduna State to find refuge. The Niger State Police Command's Public Relations Officer, DSP Wasiu Abiodun, confirmed the attack. The attack on Maguzawa came less than 48 hours after bandits raided Gidigore community, also in Rafi local government, on Tuesday night. Reports say the abductors demanded for a ransom of 50 million naira for the first set of people kidnapped. Meanwhile, the Borno State Police Command has arrested 87 suspects for alleged rape, kidnapping, terrorism and vandalism. Among the suspects, 5 IDPs were arrested for terrorism activities. The command also recovered exhibits of a recent Boko Haram attack along Damaturu-Maiduguri Road. The report.
The Borno State Police at a press briefing revealed that it has arrested 87 suspects and is currently investigating 45 cases with 10 already charged to court. The crimes committed range from rape, kidnap, criminal conspiracy, culpable homicide, public disturbances, among others.
Acting on communication intercept on some of the GSM number provided by the Tactical Intelligence Unit of Force Headquarters Abuja, arrested the above-mentioned suspects in connection with terrorist activities. We have arrested some underage who, you'll be surprised, they are becoming more scientific. They will apply chemical on our government's lab, these culverts. They will apply chemical on it. Overnight, the following day they will come. By the time they come, the slab is weak.
Of the 87 suspects paraded before newsmen, 7 were arrested for rape, 9 for culpable homicide, while public disturbances and possession of dangerous weapons has 19 suspects, all belonging to a group called Sarasuya Boys. For destruction and vandalization of government property, 9 suspects were arrested, including minors, as well as 12 cases of theft. The man we kidnapped, we handed him over to the other group. After 3 days, they came back and then they said they got 3 million naira. And then they gave us 1 million naira to share with my friend. She has been coming to my place often after closing from school, so we used to have some chat once in a while. She has been coming not this year, since last year. So it all happened in my place, at my working place. I'm a security man.
They took a different medical report and presented this as that I gave the medical report, and I wasn't the one who wrote that report. But they keep saying I'm the one who wrote the report, and I'm not the one.
Okay. You went to a medical school?
Yes.
Where?
Ilorin.
Where?
Ilorin.
Ilorin.
Yes.
The command said it has already arraigned 67 suspects, while 35 cases are under investigations. It promised to conclude all criminal cases as it trails other suspects on the loose.
You're watching Trust TV News Update. Still to come after the break. How displaced person finds love despite insecurity. Details of this and more after the break. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying with us on Trust TV News Update. Now another look at our top stories. Same religion ticket debate rages as deadline for submission of candidates inches closer. And House of Representatives to override President Buhari on statutory delegates in the Electoral Act. And in other news, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has sued the Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki, for suspending all union activities across state-owned higher institutions. The union, in a suit filed before the National Industrial Court in Benin by the Ambrose Ali University chapter, said the suspension is unconstitutional, illegal, null and void, and ultraviolates the powers of the defendants. Other defendants in the suit are the Edo State Government and Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice. No date has been fixed for hearing of the suit. The government directed the management of state-owned institutions to implement a no-work, no-pay policy and declare vacant and advertise the position of any staff member that refuses to resume work. Now, rising insecurity in northwest Nigeria has displaced thousands of families from their villages. In states like Katsina, uncompleted buildings have been turned into makeshift camps for victims that are trying to find refuge in safer communities. Jamil Mabay reports on a struggling mother whose daughter found love while in a makeshift IDP camp where they thought hope was completely gone. The report.
Insecurity situation in northwest Nigeria is fueling the fastest growing displacement crisis in the country. According to United Nations Refugee Agency, over 1,900 people were displaced in just a span of 6 days, a situation that is causing apprehension among stakeholders. What is more worrisome is that these people do not have anywhere to go but to seek shelter in uncompleted buildings in safer communities and depend on the benevolence of the society to survive. Despite these hardships, young girls who thought there is no hope for them to have a normal life in such places are opening their hearts for love, the greatest of all gifts. Halima, who 2 years ago miraculously escaped from Kukar Babangida along Jibia local government axis with her 7 children after incessant attacks by bandits.
I can never forget what happened to us that day. Bandits chased us away from our homes. The first time they attempted to enter our village, they couldn't succeed. The second time, my neighbor knocked at my door and informed us that bandits have entered. I took one of my daughters, who is late now, to a nearby bush. I came back and took the second one, where we hid. Later, they informed us that they have kidnapped their target victim.
Is hardly getting by as she prepared the first and the only meal for her children for that day. Her heart heavy with thoughts of where will the next meal come from.
We cook once a day. We eat it in the morning, afternoon, and night until God provides us with one.
Back in the village, Halima owned a small business. After the attack, she lost everything. Their life disrupted and wondered if her children will ever live a normal life. But that situation changed as love found one of her daughters in the place they least expected.
She went for a wedding after the event has finished. The groom's friends brought her back. That was when he met Khadija and professed his love due to her sense of maturity and kindness.
As every mother would for her daughter. But the burden that comes with marrying out a daughter is Halima's greatest nightmare.
The next day he came to the house, which I told him her father was not around. I go to bed thinking about my daughter's marriage. It's quite challenging considering my predicament. The date have been fixed. The thought of what to give her has been troubling me. We don't have anything.
I is still dependent on the society to assist her, as she is caught between the task of putting food on the table and the huge burden of marrying out her daughter. Jamil Mabay, Trust TV News, Katsina.
The Center for Information Technology and Development, CITAD, has trained personnel of primary healthcare development agencies on COVID-19 vaccine data management. The training, which held in Gombe State, had in attendance participants drawn from 9 states in northern Nigeria. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
18 data managers at primary healthcare development agencies from the Northeast, North Central and Northwest participated in the 2-day training. Mr. Hamza Ibrahim, CITAD's coordinator for public education on the COVID-19 vaccine project, said the training was to address discrepancies in data management.
So it will benefit the public because when a credible data, a good data is generated, people can access, and then the data can be used by stakeholders at different levels to ensure that policies and then decisions of the government, particularly within the health sector, will be informed by that data.
Mr. Mustafa Alinkilo, a facilitator, said the training will help in the management of data, not just for COVID-19, but from other health areas.
And now MPSCD has even introduced integration of COVID-19 vaccination with other immunization services. So not only COVID-19, we have other childhood killer diseases like measles, like meningitis, like pneumonia. All of these ones, yellow fever, measles, all of these ones, they are childhood killer diseases. And Nigeria has done really well in cutting down the outbreaks caused by this disease.
Participants are confident that the training will help bridge the information gap and lead to better management of data.
So it's very, very important. Without data, the data is the driver of any activity in the state. So it's data that will direct you to go to where there is gap. So my position is very important in my...
It is expected that the participant will put the knowledge acquired into practice to improve service delivery in the health sector. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
President of the Economic Community of West African States ECOWAS Commission, Jean-Claude Brou, says the community has resumed convergence to launch the ECOWAS single currency, ECO, in 2027. Brou made the call while delivering reports of the ECOWAS Commission before the ECOWAS Parliament during the ongoing 2022 first ordinary session of the Parliament in Abuja. He explained that the convergence criteria had to be thorough so that the currency, once implemented, will serve the citizens effectively.
For the single currency, as I explained in the last presentation, with the COVID and its impact, of course, we had to suspend that in 2020 and 2021. So if you look at the table that is attached, you see that we have broken that rhythm. So we are looking at 2022-26 to be able to create conditions that will then enable us to stabilize the economies, and so probably 2027 will go back to the currency.
And now a look at the foreign scene, where French President Emmanuel Macron, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, and Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi have arrived in Kiev in a joint show of support for Ukraine as it faces down Russia's invasion. Macron said their visit is a message of unity to the Ukrainians. They are set to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. The European leaders' visit has taken weeks to organize, while all three have faced criticism from Kiev over support viewed as tepid. It comes as Ukraine continues to plead with its Western allies for them to supply it with additional heavy weaponry as it seeks to fend off Russian advances in the country's south and east, nearly 4 months into the war. And that wraps up Trust TV News Update for this hour. For more news, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for watching.